also want to give a shout out to my girl Marissa for this beautiful, beautiful layout space, and Celeste back there putting on the drinks so y'all can get crunk illegally and shit. But I also want to give a shout out to my husband out there for being secure. It's a family thing. But I want to hear it. Come on, let's get it up. It's a fucking Tuesday. We're turning up. Okay, shut up, bro. We all just got COVID. Relax. No more breathing. This is getting too intense here. But no, seriously, man. Coronavirus. I mean, Jesus, take the wheel. Literally, my homie Anthony was on it something. I mean, I thought, we all had COVID at one point, but like, you just sit there sometimes by yourself. I mean, most of us probably think our life is like the Truman Show, where it all revolves around us, because everybody's life is weird, but it's like mine is weirder. But you sit there and you're taking a poop, and you're just like there in the public restroom. You shouldn't do that, but you do. And then you get those automated flushers. Like the toys that flush while you're still doing stuff. And you're just like, it's weird if I feel comfortable, but it's also weird because I think I just got COVID through my butt. And that for me is probably like the scariest moment. Your heart drops to your stomach and you just start thinking of all the things you didn't do. And then you realize that you gotta get out of the public restroom because somebody else is waiting to get in, and that's just even awkward in itself. So, as you heard, I'm not from Chicago. I'm from East Los Angeles, East of LA. I live in the desert, but I moved out here on and off for the past 5 years, and a couple of things that I've learned from you all fine people is that if you look around in your chairs, I did not take your dibs. These are all the same chairs, so if you dipped out, it's still there. But I also learned that the first year I lived here and I took some other people's chairs, I didn't have any furniture, so I was like, man, people be giving out good stuff. Chicago is legit. Like, people be hasta nacimientos. I told my mom, I was like, Mom, no te preocupes. Like, I got my nacimiento already in my Christmas tree and todo. Like, they left it outside. Like, people are so giving. It's good thing demands, they have so much shit. I got coolers, retro shit. Like, oh, it's so great. And then I realized when my car got snowed in, that you're not supposed to do that. So then I just became the way Chicago does and just started, gangbanging real quick. Like, hey, what the fuck do my car, right? Like, just getting all pissed off. No, but seriously, like, I'm from the suburbs of LA and living in Chicago, I mean, it's like an everyday Spike Lee movie. And, I get it. I'm a big activist. Like, they mentioned I do a lot of work in politics, progressive politics, as you may say. But in reality, at the end of the day, it's all the same bullshit, and I'm here to tell you that it's all the same bullshit. But I get scared sometimes living here in Little Village, which is where I live now. Don't ask me why. Don't ask me why I chose to live there. But I got married into it. But the funniest part is that when my family came to visit, they kept asking me, hey, Joz, what's that over there? I'm like, oh, you mean the park? It's like, no, that over there. I'm like, oh, you mean the arch? Isn't it beautiful? It's like, no, what's that big gray thing right there? I'm like, oh, you mean the federal prison? We totally escaped here in Little Village. I mean, come on, like if you escape, like we got cops everywhere. It's beautiful. Like, I'm protected. Until that one time, we were driving back, and I hate daylight savings. I really fucking do around this time because it's 5 o'clock and it's already dark and you're just driving your car. And I have a car that has I have 2 beautiful dogs, right? I have dog signs everywhere, baby on board, it's so great. Until it's not. And I was about to turn left on my block, and this is a true story. You're gonna be a test to this. But my husband was sleeping next to me, and I was driving, and I'm like, man, it's I don't want to fucking drive, but here I am. The car's tinted windows because I don't know why he wanted to tint off the windows when we live in a Little Village. And then this minivan out of nowhere just pulls up in front of me and I'm like, fuck. I am in a Spike Lee movie. This is insane. We're I'm ready. Chicago fucking fire. Let's go. Chicago PD. Let's go. They're floating in the hood. I'm excited. But then they won't move. They wouldn't move. was scared, and I was like, do they want to turn? And I'm thinking like, aquí ya quedé. This is like, ya me fregué, like fuck. Like I'm thinking about my life, my childhood, like me living in the suburbs of LA, like thinking, dejé todo esto por esto. I left that for this shit, like fuck. And I told my husband, he was thinking, like, and I was like, hey, babe, what? And I'm like, hey, I don't know what's going on, but this car just pulled up in front of me. He's like, oh shit, fuck, shit. And I'm like, and he's from, like, he's like raised here, and I'm like, and he's a first responder firefighter. I'm like, fuck, is he scared? I'm scared. Like, what the fuck am I supposed to do with this shit? Like, and I'm just like, oh man, like, cattle, babe, cattle. He's like, he goes, well, down your window. I'm like, no, man, no, fucking shoot me. And I'm like, no. And believe you me, man, I was wearing these glasses, like, you know, like, and I was like, no, they're gonna shoot me. And I'm like, they're gonna shoot me. And he's like, no, they gotta see that you're a girl. And I was like, well, how are they gonna see? Like, when it gets fucking dark, like, just roll down your window. And I was like, okay. And I'm like, hello, yes? Can I help you? I'm sorry, I have an investment property in this neighborhood. And I don't mean to displace you. Yes, I'm a gentrifier. My name is Karen. And they literally, like, they let me go. And that's the first time that I was excited to become, like, you know, that I'm a white girl. I was like, yeah, I'm walking around like, I'm Karen. I'm Karen. Like, Little Village in the areas is the only neighborhoods that I drive where I'm just like, and like, the kids in the corner saying, guys, I'm so happy for you, entrepreneur, you know, like, self-employed, you know, this community is great. I gotta do that. But, you know, living in a Mexican neighborhood is great sometimes because, you know, if you know how to talk to people, everybody's your abuela, your tío, and everybody's like your community. Until they're not, you know, and it happens often. But one of the things that I've enjoyed, you know, being married in a sense, is that I have a mother-in-law that's very, very, very involved. And like I mentioned, I have two Akitas. And so when I'm not home and we're not home, like she feeds them tortillas and caldos, and these dogs eat like fucking delicious, right? And so when my dog runs away, I always fucking find him at Milagro. Like, they already know him. Oh, you know, Tyson, the fucking dog is cute, he's like 140 pounds, but he loves tortillas, so it's great. So I do give my mother-in-law a little bit of credit for that, because it's like, you know, thank you, because now my dog is eating tortillas all the time. But the funniest thing is that, like, well, you know, firefighters, actually, we have some in the house, woo! But firefighters get fucking fed well at the firehouse, like fucking well, like surf and turf and shit, right? And I'm at home eating frijoles, right? And my husband sends me pictures. He's like, look, babe, and then he sends me his fucking thing, and he goes, I got you tomorrow. I was like, damn, I'm like so fucking stoked. I'm about to eat fucking surf and turf tomorrow, like for fucking breakfast. Like, I'm stoked, right? This dude, don't eat him later, but this dude comes with like fucking filet mignon, right? And I'm a fucking stoked. I'm like, damn, steak and eggs this morning, man. I'm fucking, oh yeah. And then he goes, these are for the dogs. And he goes, but I brought you a salad. And I'm just sitting as my dogs are like eating filet mignon. And I'm like, these dogs really do have it better than me. What the fuck? But I was like, you know, it's a true story. But that's when, you know, ladies, be careful when you get married. I'm like, but at the end of the day, though, it's cool. I like my dogs, you know, pretty nice and well fed. I'm over here going, woof, woof, no, but one of the things that I learned about living in Chicago is that you guys saying shit after everything. You'd be like, oh man, I was going to church and shit. I have a son and shit. I realized that I had to go to brunch and shit. And then my mom was talking to me and shit. And, you know, like, I don't know how I feel about that and shit, you know? But it's interesting, you guys, Chicago, you got your own vibe, you got your own dibs, you got your own shit going on and shit. So, like, I'm so proud of y'all. Like, you fucking live in this crazy ass, nasty ass weather, but luckily we're like, oh, just pegó the run. No, it's the fucking flu. We got the flu. It's the flu. This is not the run. No, it's not the run. It's the flu. It happens all the time, every year on this run. But at the end of the day, Chicago, you got what it takes to survive anywhere. So I'm proud of y'all for that. But one thing it is true is when I moved out here a long time ago, when I was younger, my mom, who has very overprotective parents here, especially other Mexicans, Yeah. My mom used to call me 20 times a day just to know, like to tell me she was my mother and that she was calling me. But one thing I love about my mom is that when I was younger, she didn't know that the weed plant was different than the aloe vera plant. And so she would buy me bracelets and shit that, you know, had the aloe vera plant, but it was the weed plant. So I was like the most popular girl in fucking high school, even though I never even smoked in my life, you know? She bought me shoes with the aloe vera plant, and you know, she bought me shirts with the black guy and the aloe vera plant. Yeah, you know, and I was saying, so she would call me, I was in college, and I went to college in Wisconsin, she would call me and she would be like, what are you doing? And I'm like, oh, I'm just chilling here, people that have aloe vera everywhere. And I don't know what they do with it, but they seem to be really happy all the time. And now we're gonna go eat because we're already hungry, you know? But no, I love my parents, and you know, they're all in California, but at the end of the day, they know I'm well protected in Little Village. Very, very well protected with well-fed dogs, good prison system, and a lot of fucking damn tortillas, right? So I don't want to take much of your time. You know, I'm really excited for La Cabrona comedy show here in McKinley Park. Big goal of mine was always to come back to Chicago and fulfill dreams. And I'm also very blessed for people that I've met throughout this journey.